Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Monday, September the 18th. The year's 2023. Let's talk trading. Weekly open and gap. As always, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. Well, I'm back from a week off. I had things to do, but you know what? I think when you start doing things, you find out you only have more things to do. So it's time to get back into it, and we're starting off the last two trading weeks in September. So let's all keep in mind risk management. Let's not lose any more than we're willing to lose on any one particular trade. So let's take a look at the weekly, and it seems like we're right near the weekly open. We're about a pip or two above it. All the gaps have filled. So, and let's see, what happened last week? The week I took off. Well, obviously, it looks like price went down. And looks like we had a nice little drop there last week. We haven't hit our weekly pivot yet, as we can see right here. We're putting in the opening range for the week, which is only so far about 40 pips. Looks like we're going to have an explosive week. We're below the opening range for the month here. And we still got 2 weeks left as mentioned. So there could be some significant moves. And if we look out at the monthly, we're only 11 pips off the monthly low. You can see 1, 2, 3 months ago we're right at that low. And so it looks like we break, what, the 2300 level. Looks like we might be going down to about 2275-ish or so. We got a low here, 2273. So those would be a couple of quote-unquote support levels to see what happens. And for the year, we're 292 pips above the yearly open, 91 below the midpoint. Let's see, is this on these mid dots? I don't remember if these are pivot dots or if these are previous. These are previous mids. Right here. So we're below previous month's midpoint. And we pop back up to 84.14 now off the low. And we had an inside bar 7 months ago at 2400. You can see we dropped below, so we're in that monthly inside bar range. So maybe we can come out of that level. And there's that monthly inside bar. And inside bar action, looks like we've got a bunch on the daily. Not so many on the weekly, and then a few more on the monthly. The range, once again, is only 40 pips. Pretty anemic, pretty anemic. And in fact, no pairs over 100. Range is too low for rats. Pivot. Looks like we've taken out the daily pivot. Bambino flex indicators saying to go short. So short at R1 and short near the pivot. Looks like that played out 2, 3 times today? Or was it only once today? Looks like a couple of times. So we did take out the daily pivot. I'm sorry, that was the H4 pivot we took out there. We've taken out the daily. We haven't taken out the monthly. No, we did take out the monthly. We missed the September one. And we did, but we haven't taken out this week's pivot. Like I said, I also look at these H4s for targets. In and out of the previous sessions, lower wick zone there, 23.83. So you can see price once again doesn't like staying in that wick zone. And the weekly range, so last week we had 170 pips so far, only 40. And last week did not break out of the previous high, but it did break out at a previous low. We broke out at a previous low by 9 pips so far. So far this week, high minus close 30, close minus low 10 for the rats. For the buy zone traders or weekly open crossovers, high minus open 30 and open minus low is 10. And looking at some possible trades here on the price action, the simple chart. Looking at the M5, you can see we had an outside bar last time, coming off of the previous day's low, crossed our daily open here at 80. I was talking with Walmart earlier, and I guess that's why the 80s just for some reason we're just pushing back and forth across there. You can see on the 1 minute that daily open, it's been good for 2 or 3 pip trades. And if you bump it up to M30, just taking that candle color bias, and you can see it's below the indicator 2 here on M30, and on M1 just turned it. So you can see once again 80 is just, it's like a lot of buyers around that 80 level. And looking at the lower high, higher low here on M15, 75 psychological was a trigger there. If we move down to M5, we've got a lower high here at 77. And we had a higher low at 87. On the M30, you can see here we had a lower high right there at 80, which was the open once again. And we're right back to it. Now looking at some statistics, we still haven't pushed the yearly range. And the range so far this month, it's 343. So we haven't pushed the range for the year, but we've exceeded the low range the year, which was 293 last month. So it looks like here, if we look down for the past 20 years here, September, it's like we definitely have some pips to go. Okay, if we look at the daily chart, things to take note of. Now we're back inside that lower wick zone. The previous day, sellers, weak control, dancing right around that open. Pop out to the weekly. Above the weekly open, inside the lower wick zone of the previous week. Sellers, weak control once again. Want to fade the pivot buy to 24.37. And if we go all the way out to the monthly, we got prices turning down this month. We have exceeded the previous month's range. Below the lower wick zone, obviously. So there we have it. So this week, like I said, more things to do for me. But one of the things I was telling Walmart is that, you know, we have a lot of stories to tell. And I don't mean like, you know, the fish stories, like the ones that got away, but more in when we analyze charts, we look at charts, we have stories. It could be, you know, the rat zone's a story, the wick zone's a story. You know, the talk about imbalance, that's a story. Order blocks. These are all stories that we tell ourselves. And Walmart said, you know, it's no problem if it helps us see what's going on, but so many times the stories we tell are about the past. And, you know, the present and the future don't always equal the past. You know, statistically they might, and that's where trading differs from so many other things. You know, I've given you know, that our trading plan is not like a recipe. It's not guaranteed to turn out. I guess what we could say it might turn out is it's either going to hit a take profit or a stop loss. And so then the trade will turn out, but we don't know which one it's going to do. And so, you know, some of us, you know, we're in and out of trades within minutes. You know, if we're in a trade for over an hour, that's just, something's just not going our way. Otherwise, we would have taken our profit and been long gone. So I'm kind of curious what stories traders out there tell, so you can leave something in the comments. I know some of you watch the videos, but you're really hesitant to leave comments. But, you know, don't feel ashamed or embarrassed, or, you know, think that if you ask a question that somebody's going to think it's a stupid question, because no, that's not what we're about. You know, we're all traders wanting to make profit and try and help each other. So that being said, the fastest 15 minutes in trading is just about over. So I guess we'll be telling stories for the next few days or so. We'll just have to see how that plays out. But when you're, you know, looking at your charts and you're telling yourself stories, always remember and never forget, it's not what you trade. It's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.